Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Neeson from THS, and I am here with the amazing Paul Jenkins. Sir, we are that hashtag show. So please give me the last hashtag you use that is not Comic-Con related.
Not Comic-Con. The last hashtag I used was Claudius. My cat, my little black cat Claudius, is the greatest cat I've ever had. It's like Claudius with his claws. And every so often I would just hashtag Claudius because I want everybody to know my cat.
That's it. Okay, so you post pictures of your cat online.
Yeah, I'm terrible online. I really basically don't shill any of my work or talk about what I do. Not very often, but I'm happy to point out what my kids did this week, you know.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Speaking of kids, one of the kids you created was Sentry, which was now on Thunderbolts, doing amazing. The character has connected to so many people. Just, the duality between the mental hurdles he was going through and also just trying to be a quote unquote normal person. I want to talk about the backstory of how you developed that character, and was there anything that you looked at to say, I have to display this because I don't see this anywhere else?
Yeah, first of all, it actually came about, Nissan, from a pitch that I made for a character called Hourman for Vertigo Comics. I was writing Hellblazer. Hourman's an interesting idea. He takes a pill and it makes him a superhero for 1 hour. And then he can't take one for a day. And I thought that was just an incredible story about addiction. If I had that pill, I would take it, I'd be a superhero, and then I would spend 23 hours saying, when do I get my next one? And it would really, you'd be obsessed with it. But it couldn't fly at DC. They wouldn't really use Hourman in that way in the DC universe, and Vertigo weren't interested in superheroes. Karen Berger, the editor-in-chief of Vertigo, said, why don't you make a story about that? That's actually a really good idea. Someone who's addicted to their power, someone that has addiction issues and has the power. And so I created the Sentry, and it was very much about how we struggle. Every person you've ever met, either yourself, somebody you know, a family member, has a challenge of mental health. Yes. And that doesn't just mean that you have ADHD or you have a mental health challenge, like chemically. It means that you're struggling or you're tired or, we all deal with that stuff, right? And so the Sentry was able to reach every single person, which means everybody, because of that reason.
Yeah, and I think that's, to that point, that's why I connected so well, and that's why Thunderbolts connected so well, because Sentry was the catalyst to be able to open up these conversations with these other characters that we've been following for so long, that showing sides of Winter Soldier we haven't seen, of Florence Pugh's character Black Widow we haven't seen, right? The follow-up to that, and being able to have that character that you created comic book-wise, I love the detail with colors, and I love asking people, artists, why these specific colors, right? And Sentry pops off the pages and it pops off the screen. It's unlike any other superhero. So why the colors? Okay,
so I really always want to give props to Jake Schreier, the director of Thunderbolts. I always want to give props to Jae Lee, my co-creator of the Sentry, because and actually Jose Villarrubia, who is the colorist of the book, because Jose worked so much on this work. He was created to be the golden guardian of good, right? And it was a silly kind of 40s or 50s character. He shines with an inner light. He doesn't cast a shadow. And when he becomes the Sentry, the conceit is, spoiler alert, he becomes the void at the same time. It's the darkness in him is generally the void. And so the reason why Jake and Lewis Pullman did such a great job with that character was that when he is the Sentry, you can see, as the way that I would write him, that he's not necessarily comfortable, that he isn't really the golden guardian of good. He's not actually perfect. There's something hidden underneath. And I think that the way that the character was designed, that it's supposed to shine with this inner light, and he looks too perfect. He's not quite there. It's almost like he's somewhat ethereal. And that means that there's something not quite right about him. And I think that was done in the comic, and I think that was translated really well into the film.
That's beautiful. My last question, which I'm just going to throw these cards out the window here. We're at fandom, right?
Yeah.
Give us your fandom hot take.
My fandom hot take? I would say this. It might be slightly controversial. I'm not sure.
That's a hot take. Let's go.
Let's do it. When I was asked to come into the Marvel Universe, I had been working on Hellblazer, and Hellblazer, in a way, is seen as being kind of a literate comic for whatever reason. You know, it was created by Alan Moore. Garth Ennis had written the character for a long time. You know, this thing had been around. And John Constantine is a character that you can write some really deep and interesting things. And so I get a phone call, and it's from Jae Lee, and he says, you know, Marvel would like to ask if you would like to do some superheroes. And I feel that we brought the real concentration of the why of any character to Marvel. Why do I care? Who is this person? The fact is that the Sentry is not the Sentry because that's just some construct. And he's not the Void because that's his illness manifested. All of those things collide on the person in the middle. Again, why did they make such a great film with Thunderbolts? Because in the middle is Bob. And all they made that story about was Bob. That's all, and he's the breakout character because they treated him the right way. So I would say that the hot take on this is, I miss that Marvel came to me and said, can you bring that wizardy stuff that you do? And the actual answer to that was, yeah, what you mean story and characterization, to really treat these people as though they're real. I feel as though at times it's cyclical, that we go away from it. And I think we sometimes move away, and I'm really hopeful that this is the moment that we come back into it as well.
Well, I appreciate your time. That was a great hot take. I don't think that was a hot take. That was just a perfect take. So thank you for your time. You guys, make sure you check out Paul Jenkins. Where can I follow you on?
So follow me on X. I am at...
you want to see your cat?
You want to see my cat, right?
Yeah.
So I'm at my Paul Jenkins, and I'm at the Paul Jenkins on Instagram.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers, man.